So I had this Saturday evening in 2024, so about 2 years ago. It was in Feb. I've just moved to Johannesburg and I'm in this big city for the first time. And yeah, it was Saturday evening. I'd finished doing kind of everything I needed to do for the day. And I just broke down crying. And it wasn't something that kind of came out of nowhere. I'd been thinking about it a lot. And the reason I was crying was just, it's Saturday. I'm finally an adult. I was 22 at the time. I'm 22. I've got a new job. I've got a car. I haven't got my car yet, actually. I think that was part of the problem. But I'm an adult. I'm living in the big city. This is life. Like, this is what I've been looking forward to my whole childhood. I'm finally free. I'm not living under my parents' roof anymore. I don't have to follow their rules that I thought were a bit stupid. Like, I can do what I want. And another weekend is just gone. And I've done nothing. I had no plans with anyone, nothing exciting to look forward to. And it was just kind of like, man, is this all there is to life? And for me, it was really sucky because I'm a social person. Well, at least I like to think I'm a social person with the people that I like to be social with. I guess you could call me an ambivert, right? But nonetheless, like, I'm not somebody who's like, man, I just want to sit inside in my room all day and like watch a movie and just do that for the rest of my weekends of my life. I don't want to do that. I'm like, I want to go hang out with friends. I like conversation. I like doing things that are meaningful, that I can look back and be like, that was a weekend well spent. I like doing stuff. And nothing was happening. Now, it was very early on in the year. And I think I did end up kind of getting out of that. Once I did get a car, I started going to like more social stuff and I was fine. I actually ended up having too much of it. But at that moment, I was like, man, this can't be all there is to life. Like, my life sucks. It's boring. I don't have anything to look forward to. Like, what's the point of life? Like, is this all there is? Work during the week, wake up on a Saturday, kind of do your chores, and then just get this empty, sinking feeling on a Saturday evening that, yeah, there's really nothing exciting about life. No one cares about you, or all of that. And yeah, I think there's just something to that challenge of wanting to do meaningful, like fun things, but having to settle for cheap fun, such as your phone. I think that's a secondary kind of, it's a two-pronged kind of suffering, if I can put it that way. There's one thing for you to not have anything to do, like to just feel bored. But it's another thing to feel bored and also feel like you're wasting time. Because you can be bored and say, man, I've kind of got this time I want to pass. And I'm bored and I wish I could do something else with it. But then there's also, I'm bored. I'm not enjoying life right now. But also, this is like the time I've been looking forward to for so long. I should be using this to like live life, enjoy, to build something. I should be using it to do something, and it's just sitting there and I've got nothing to do with it. So I'm bored and I've got all this time that I don't get to use to do what I want. Yeah, I think that's a very difficult challenge to face when you're like, man, my life is boring. And something that I find very interesting, I learned about this, I don't know when, over the last couple of years, but it's this idea that filling your life up with cheap entertainment makes life more boring. It makes life less colorful because you're on your phone and if you go onto like an algorithm or TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever it is, it functions like a slot machine. That's how it's built to keep people addicted to the phone. You go on that thing and you've got kind of this variable reward and there's like spikes in reward. It's like kind of, it's exciting, right? Nothing in life is really gonna make you as excited anymore because nothing's ever gonna hit as hard as that. Why would you go to the gym and work hard for like an hour so you can leave and then get a pump and then feel good about yourself when you can just go on your phone and get a hit that's way more stimulating and way less effort? And this is something that once you realize it, it's like, man, you kind of realize the damage you're doing to yourself. I know people love talking about, dopamine and all that stuff. I'm not going to get into all that because a lot of the real science has gotten mixed up with pseudoscience, and I don't know anything about the real science, so I'm not going to talk about that. But kind of the discourse that happens there is this idea of like, when you get yourself used to very like hyper stimulated stuff, normal stuff that's supposed to stimulate you isn't going to be as fun. Like it just makes sense, right? Like if you go and you have, flip, you go and you have like a really sweet cake. You know, if you eat a fruit afterwards, like the fruit doesn't taste as sweet because you're so used to eating cake, right? Similar with like junk food. You know, if you're used to eating junk food, like normal food that's nice isn't going to taste as nice because it's just not as stimulating. And that's what you're doing to your life when you're spending all this time kind of filling it up with cheap entertainment. It's like quick hits. And that's kind of the sad thing. I remember hearing somebody say it on a podcast I was listening to, where it was kind of this idea of like the sad state of affairs when it comes to like addictions, is that you need more to feel less stimulated. So you need a higher dose to get a weaker hit. So think cocaine. You know, if you're addicted to cocaine, the first time you do cocaine, and I hope none of you have ever found out what that's like. I definitely haven't. But just imagine somebody does cocaine for the first time. Like, I don't know, one dose is like life changing. You know, it's like, wow, what the flip is all of this, right? But now imagine somebody that's addicted. They need a much larger dosage to feel something that's not going to be as stimulating as what it felt like the first time. It's kind of a losing cycle. It sucks. And you've kind of done that to your life. You've drained the color out of your life by kind of filling it up with cheap entertainment.